Welcome back to the what's the name of the podcast?
The Good Time Podcast.
The Good Time Podcast. Thank you for having a good time with us.
Yeah, that was sick.
I'm Alex. That's Andrew. That's Andrew. I'm Alex.
And as
As
always,
always, with great power comes great good time ability.
Oh, that's crazy. This is sick. So I appreciate y'all, letting me come pull up and have y'all on. This is crazy. I was telling y'all off camera, I wouldn't have started a podcast if it wasn't for y'all.
And we really appreciate that.
And I'm very excited. We're going to get into movies a little bit later. I wanted to get in personal first, how the podcast started and all that. So first, you started off content creation. How did the very beginning of that happen?
slowly, sadly, unsuccessfully. When my first video ever was a magic video. I always liked watching other YouTubers and seeing what they could do and stuff, and it kind of inspired me. I always liked entertaining people. I used to do acting, and then I was a magician, and then I decided to do YouTube. The first time I posted a magic video, and someone in my school group in my class just like dared me to vlog, like do a vlog. She's like, "Why don't you do one?" I was like, "Frig it," and then I vlogged, and,
Nice.
then I just didn't stop.
Nice. So what advice would you give to somebody who's in that starting stage?
How much time you got? This is the whole podcast. Don't a bunch of things. Social media is like trying a bunch of stuff and then doubling down on what works. So you're gonna try a bunch of stuff. You're not gonna be successful the first time you do something. Keep trying, and then when you find something that works and something that you like, just do that a bunch, and don't feel bad about doing that one thing a bunch. And then you can do the 80-20 rule after that. Do 80% what you think works and what you've seen work, and then use the other 20% to always be testing new stuff. Also, don't let social media become your life in its entirety. You should be making videos because you think you have something to offer and share, and your creativity and your life is something worth sharing with others online, and it shouldn't be because your entire life is YouTube. Don't let the grind and trying to be perfect result in you not liking your life anymore, or your creativity being taken away because you're trying to make the most perfect video on the planet. It's much more important to be happy and be happy in life than it is to make the most well-optimized video of all time. Always try your best. Always try to make a good video, but don't let it ruin everything else in your life, and have fun with it.
That was perfect. So I was about to ask you, my follow-up question was, how do you balance out what you like and what you want to do? And I've never heard the 80-20 before, so that's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna make stuff that you don't like, you're not gonna last as long. I mean, I love magic. I like the escape rooms that I used to do. I like talking about movies, so it all works for me.
Perfect. And then you're kind of new to all this. You used to be a musician,
Yes, in some capacity. Yes.
some capacity. So how did that kind of start up? And it was high school when you started?
Music?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just in 2017, kind of everybody in my area, some people that I knew personally, were getting a really, really successful, blowing up overnight. It felt like everybody on SoundCloud. And so me and my buddy, we made a song on SoundCloud, and it did like 1 million in 4 days. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm famous. I'm like, so sick. And then nothing ever came from it other than that, but I was able to leverage that small success and then the middling success we had afterwards into a career behind the scenes where I worked for Spotify. I still do some work for a little company called DistroKid. So that's how that happened. It was just a lot of luck and chance, but I'm grateful for the experience for sure. But I'm also grateful to be doing this now.
Do you think you're better at podcasting than you are in music?
Yes.
Well, that's good that you're sticking to it.
Man, you must have sucked at music then.
You son of a...
Oh, that's great. That's great.
I'm just kidding.
So you played football for a little bit growing up, right?
Very short amount of time, but yeah.
Not that much. When did you stop playing?
You know what? I was like 15, 16, 16.
Oh, so you played for a decent amount.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot of fun. I just like, as soon as I got hit by like a real athlete who is now in the NFL, I was like, oh, yep, no.
Is it? I remember you were talking about the podcast. You went to high school. You played with Tyson Campbell on the Jaguars.
Yeah. So Tyson Campbell and our high school team, like it's like some of those teams are some of the best teams like ever. Like Sony Michel, Isaiah McKenzie, Pat Surtain,
Studs.
Tyson Campbell, Marco Wilson, Anthony Schwartz. I mean, some of the best athletes ever. I mean, yeah, no, some of these.
You named a lot better corners than receivers, though. So
Yeah, certainly.
that's probably why you quit too, huh?
No, because a lot of, it was all changing. Everybody was playing every position pretty much back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, Marco's running routes, or Tyson's running routes, or this or that, and yeah, no, but it was a lot of fun, definitely, but definitely not for me. Certainly not for my body type.
But you think you're a pretty solid quarterback?
I could sling it for sure.
So
Yeah.
you're the sports guy, right? Is your throwing motion better than your jump shot?
Yeah, certainly, obviously,
Certainly.
yeah.
I mean, come on.
My jump shot is terrible. I know that.
No, I'll never forget the Patreon video when y'all pulled it up, because I've always watched your content, so I knew you could hoop pretty well.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to see what.
Nah, I'm incapable.
It's
Impressive. Yeah, no,
It is impressive.
I used to
the way it
think,
looks.
yeah, but no,
the
dude,
way
it's,
it looks.
it's terrible.
When we went filming recently, and you tried to actually shoot with like a normal form, and it didn't look bad.
Yeah.
You're like Lonzo Ball and the Pelicans learning how to shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
His shooting percentage didn't necessarily go up very
No,
much.
if anything, it went down.
Yeah, but
I did beat you with my typical shooting motion, though.
you beat me.
You were shooting from half court.
Yeah, I was shooting from
Oh,
half court.
I was about to say, like, dang. If y'all played, he had to score 100, you had to score 25, who do you think would win?
Me. Are threes and twos are twos?
Sure.
Me.
Yeah, 100's a lot.
100's a lot.
1 billion. No, I'm just kidding. I just had to say that.
If it was-
a billion's a lot.
If it was twos and ones, I still think I would win.
No, I think the score would be like
70.
no 40-50 ish.
Interesting.
Because you didn't score half the points that I got. You scored way less than
But
half.
I need to get 25 before you get 100.
Yeah, so I'm saying.
So I think you're going to
And
score
it's
like
make it, take
78,
it.
but I'm going to score 25 before you
Oh
score
no, I was
100.
saying you would get 40 or 50 by the time I got 100.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That math is mathing, so
Yeah,
we're
it's
good.
mathing.
Yeah, that's perfect. And then I want to ask you, too, because one of your biggest parts about your personality and who you are is your faith,
Ooh.
which I do really respect that. So I want to know, you grew up in a big Christian faith household. What lessons did you learn growing up like that?
A lot. Like just in general, like what, like.
Yeah, just like simple lessons that like you use in your adult life.
Well,
now.
okay, so the main thing, so there's two main things about Christianity that I like to point out. And one is the golden rule that everyone knows of, treat others the way you want to be treated, and that's such like an easy way to live life. If you think about it, it's not because people don't ever do it, but like if you think about it, if everyone just followed that one rule, the world would be like sunshine and rainbows. So I try to do that, and then the fact that like someone asked Jesus like, "Yo, what's like the most important thing ever?" and he was like, "Love God, love people," and that's it. So try to do that.
Pretty well spoken.
I try. Maybe I learned that growing up.
How to be well spoken.
Yeah.
Well, what's like your favorite memories growing up as with having such faith? Like, did y'all have specific rituals every year? Not rituals, like satanic rituals.
You were
right?
definitely in some
I was in a
youth
cult,
groups, dude.
Yeah. No, I was. I did all the things. Probably just my family. My family's really close, and they all kind of share that together. So like, like my grandparents are just like the classic like old Christian people, but they're like the nicest people on the planet. They're not the like, you think of like old white Christians, you can get some mean people there. But like my grandmother is like the sweetest soul on the planet, and she's just so funny. And my grandfather too, dude. So yeah, just probably my family and being able to share that with everyone and them always like our family unit's like really strong. So them always being there for me and vice versa. And my grandparents just being salt and light of the earth. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And then to finish it off on this little part,
Sure.
what lesson, or not lesson, like what experience did God really show himself to you? If you could pick like your number one experience where you really felt his presence.
Yeah. So it can come in waves, especially when you're growing up in the church. Like that's just kind of what you're supposed to believe or whatever, and then you go on the journey of like choosing to believe that yourself. So when you get old enough to start believing that, and you're going to college and stuff. Not necessarily an experience, but actually like exploring and reading about like why I should believe what I believe. It was one interesting thing that I kind of experienced to grow. And then there were times in my life where it was just like I was either confused about something, I didn't know what was about to happen, but just the fact that it could always be in his hands, and like at the end of the day, like it's going to be fine because of that is a very comforting thing. And sometimes I feel that more, sometimes I don't feel that, and I should. But going through some difficult things can bring that out. And then there's sometimes in my life where like everything I did, I was praying and felt really close, and that's always kind of what you're striving for.
Very well spoken. Very well spoken.
Thank you.
No, I really respect your beliefs because I'm a Christian as well.
Oh, nice.
So.
Stop Asian hate.
Stop Asian hate.
Like that has anything to do with what we're talking about.
Has anything. No, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking about football a little bit. I have to get more into it. Do you remember December 8th, 2022 as a Rams fan? The best comeback in recent memory.
No, that's probably a top 5 memory for me as a Rams fan. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a Baker Mayfield jersey.
Hold on. Pause. Not pause.
Pause. Do we have a Rams fan here? Another one?
I'm a Baker fan.
Yeah. No. Baker touchdown maker. He's my king.
Oh, they're hugging. Are they gonna? Oh no, he's running. Oh, we got the jersey.
Big Baker fan here.
I'm a big.
Let's go. Let's put him on.
I'm a big.
Let's. That's sick.
Let's go.
People just see and think it's a Puka jersey.
I love Baker too.
Believe me, I wore it to a Rams game this year, and I just wrote Puka on the back.
Oh, that's hilarious. But
I like Baker just more than Puka.
Baker, I'm an OU fan. Die-hard OU
too.
fan. I grew up being an OU fan. Really?
Yeah, me too.
You're an Oklahoma fan? Actually?
No.
I was like, didn't you grow up in freaking Alabama?
I'm just trying
So,
to
yeah, the Baker comeback.
play along.
I was a Panthers fan. Ryan went to the Panthers, went to the Rams. I remember watching that game. What was the quarterback? John Wolford who was playing at the beginning?
Yeah.
Doing so terrible. I'm like, put Baker in.
Yep.
Put Baker in.
Yeah. He
So
had been on the team for 2 days. And we were going to win, and then Cam Akers fumbles, and I'm like, no. And it's like, okay, it was a disaster season. Let's just get out of it, whatever. And, oh, my gosh. I mean.
And Baker threw the pick, too, and I thought it was over. But
yes,
it
but
ended
the
up being
foul,
pass interference.
yes.
Oh.
And oh, my gosh, the pass to Ben Skoranek, where Ben Skoranek
that was
bosses the
insane.
dude, and then the Van Jefferson touchdown. I mean, tears to my eyes. I'm
Man
telling you.
coverage one-on-one on Van Jefferson in the game.
It is a top 5 memory of mine as a Rams fan. That season was so hard to watch the whole year, and like all the injuries.
Baker persevered.
And yes, and he gave me like so much happiness at the end of the year. I love that man forever.
What do you think about him this year?
I mean, I hope they give him the contract. Like
I
keep
think
him.
so,
You
too.
know, like he did great. Took him to the playoffs, won a playoff game, something that Tom Brady did not do last year with a very similar team. Just keep him as long as we can. I love Baker. I'm always going to be rooting for him.
Would you have wanted him to be a backup long-term for Stafford?
Of course, but like that would be unfair to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and look at him. He's thriving in Tampa right now.
For sure. The only thing is, dude, oh my gosh, the Vikings are wanting to pay him like a bag. So it's like, how players are, like money talks.
Absolutely.
I'd
We'll
want him
see,
to stay-
but
I'd want him to stay for Tampa Bay.
yeah, me too. I love Baker.
Did he deserve comeback player of the year, or did Flacco deserve it?
Flacco did not deserve it. I couldn't believe they didn't give
know,
it to
it's
DeMar
ridiculous.
Hamlin. That was the
You
craziest.
think DeMar deserved it?
Like, I'm just saying, I'm not that mad about DeMar not getting it, but like, I couldn't believe he didn't win. Like, that was just crazy. Can you imagine dying on a football field and then not winning comeback player of the year?
No.
To a guy that just like was on his couch?
But he recorded 3 tackles all season.
I'm with you.
Yeah, but he also died.
Stafford had like a neck contusion and had an
yeah, you're
MVP like performance, and Flacco did not. Like Flacco won a couple games.
What was his comeback?
He was retired. Yeah.
Go injure
And
yourself.
won a couple games.
Go injure
Like,
yourself.
And he had like 10 interceptions in 4 games. It was
Yes.
Terrible.
They won those games though. But again, yeah, no, I didn't think Flacco deserved it. Definitely not. I think Baker definitely deserved it
Isn't
over
that
Flacco.
Spanish for
Stafford,
skinny?
yes, Stafford deserved it over Flacco, and I think Hamlin deserved it over
Bilingual
Flacco
king.
for sure.
I'm just biased, so I wanted Baker.
I was furious that neither Ram won Rookie of the Year.
Sorry, I had to
furious.
nerd out on football a little bit.
No, that's
there.
fine.
Furious,
totally
furious. Like I get that you're gonna give it to CJ Stroud because like positional value or whatever, but like Puka broke every record ever.
I feel like if anything, it deserves to be a tie. I love Puka. Don't get me wrong. He was on my fantasy team.
Yeah. Oh, so you cooked.
Oh, I didn't. I did terrible. In
Oh.
fantasy. I'm so bad in fantasy every
Damn.
year. My girlfriend got second in our fantasy league.
Good for
My
her.
Family, I know.
Hell yeah.
Except she didn't try.
My girlfriend did too.
Nice. He doesn't have a girlfriend.
Emphasis on fantasy.
Oh,
Got
see,
him.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, did he have a girlfriend at the beginning of the fantasy season?
Nope.
Does being co-host and eventually friends with Alex make you like football more?
I like.
Because you grew up in Alabama.
Yeah, no, I care about what I care about, and I don't care about what I don't care about. You know, and people don't really influence me. Otherwise, I enjoy him enjoying it.
Okay, that's awesome.
I have fully accepted I'm never going to be able to get him into football, but I fully got him in basketball last year for the playoffs.
Yeah, I've always liked basketball.
Basketball just doesn't hit the same for me as football.
Oh, but the NBA playoffs are the best postseason in any sport.
Oh, that's insane. Football kills it for me.
Sorry. Love football. Football's my favorite sport.
I do watch the finals every year. The finals are
The
always,
NBA playoffs are electric. I watch every game.
how it's 7 is always pretty
Jimmy
sick.
Butler.
Oh, that was electric.
Dude, he freaking making a layup while
But didn't they
Parallel
lose?
to the
parallel
ground.
to the ground.
Didn't they lose?
In the finals as an 8 seed.
No, I know, but like, would you rather not make it to the finals?
No, that was a historic run.
No, I know, but it's like losing
Just
the
to
finals.
lose.
You know what I'm saying? Like
They were the
does
best
losing in the finals hurt worse than like losing
losers.
first round?
Who's your NFL team?
The Bucks, because of Baker.
Okay. Bucks make
So
the,
we both hate the Lions.
I
hate
don't, I've never
They both
had
knocked us
beef with
out.
the Lions, but dude, that was so whack what they did to Stafford. That was crazy.
That was whack. But sorry, what were you saying?
Bucks make the Super Bowl next year with Baker, but lose. Or,
I'd bawl my eyes out, dude. Like,
or, they don't even win a game in the playoffs.
true. Nah, I get what you're saying, but God, I bet.
As an AC, we're the first AC to ever make the finals.
I did not know that. That's insane.
Yeah. And I'm not a big hockey guy, but I'm a big Florida Panthers guy. And we were also an AC in hockey and also made the Stanley Cup finals. And also lost. But it was so sick.
I don't think I've watched one hockey game in my life.
Oh, they're fun. They're really fun. I like hockey.
Do you have any sport you watch at all? Like if you had to pick one?
Nope. I'd watch basketball.
Basketball in the playoffs.
I know who Steph Curry is.
Bang.
So we can kind of start slowly segue it because you went to Auburn for a little bit in college, right?
One singular semester.
Oh, nice. Is that
And
all
then,
you
and then
did
I
for-
said, nah.
Is that all you did for college? You ended up going.
I went
did
to
other-
Full Sail University later,
Okay.
but I went to Auburn for one semester.
I didn't even know it was one semester. I thought it was a year.
I was gonna say, I did college for one semester, but you ended up doing more than me. So
Yeah, I dropped out and worked for a couple of years, then I went back to Full Sail because I didn't have anything else to do.
So I wanted to ask you too because I've heard you talk about on the podcast. I mean, every podcast you've had, I've freaking like, dude. I'll be in my office working. My girlfriend comes by. She's like, "I've heard you listen to episode 6 times already."
Yeah,
Like,
he
I
probably
like-
knows us better than we know ourselves. To be
Yeah.
honest.
I wanted. Never mind. Sorry, but
No, so you got to say it.
well, I wanted to do like a like trivia thing where it's quotes y'all said and try to guess who said it.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I'd be good at that.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be good at
Because there are
that.
some that like when he's like, "Dude," when you say "dude," because that's like his catchphrase. I was like, "Oh, you definitely think it's."
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I'd be bad at that.
So, but I wanted to ask you because you talked about being in college and kind of being depressed and not wanting to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see yourself doing content full time then?
I saw myself doing content full time since I was 16. Like that was the goal. Like 16, 17. So I just never stopped. So like in college, yes, I was like, this is what I should be doing content full time, and I'm not. And that's why it was a problem. And then when I went to Full Sail, I moved to Florida. I was like, I should be doing content. I should have been doing content full time 4 years ago, and I'm not, which is why I kept going.
So, do you think that kind of had to deal with the depression a little bit that you weren't doing something you're passionate about?
Yeah, no, I literally would text my mom and be like, I'm not doing anything good here. Like I'm not learning about biology anymore. Like I don't care. I'll go to class. I told her one time, I was like, I'll come back for a second semester, but I'm not going to try.
What was her response to that?
She figured out a way for me to drop out.
Wow. My mom, I told her I wanted to drop out, and she said, "You're not living here rent free if."
Yeah,
Good.
I mean, I did come home and I got a job, immediately.
Well, I had a job too, but she said like, "You're not living here for free if you're not going to college." So I dropped out and got an apartment.
Damn.
Yeah.
But I love my
No.
mom. Me and my mom are tight. Well, like she's right, like.
No, yeah,
Oh,
I get
fuck
it.
up.
I get it.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, she knew what kind of kid she had. You know what I mean? Like, the acting magician kid that makes YouTube videos and has all these weird dreams. So when I was saying that kind of stuff, like I would just like be in my apartment and I would just like or my dorm and just like not feel it.
I think you said like you would just edit dumb videos. Was one of the dumb videos you made the Gwen Stacy?
Bum, 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 ba-da.
Because that's one of your most viral videos to this day, isn't it?
Yeah, no, especially early on. I made that like pre-college. I made that in high school. That was really early on. But when like, mom, when I'm talking about like editing, like I would be like in biology class, and I would just like edit a funny meme to send to my mom about how much I hated the class.
Funny.
You know that scene from Emperor's New Groove where like Cusco,
I'm not listening.
Cusco's walking off away from Pacha, and he's like, "I'm not listening." I like downloaded that whole video from YouTube, clipped it, added caption. I was like, "This is me in biology class right now. La la la, I'm not listening." And then I just sent it to my mom. That's what I spent the whole class doing.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know.
So let's talk about a little bit how the Escape Pod kind of started, because, like I said, I think I know kind of almost everything, but there might be stuff I don't know. So if I do kind of have it correct, you approached him about it.
Yes.
Yes and no. So how do we meet?
Through a mutual friend.
Yes.
So I met a friend of ours who was a roommate, no longer is. I met him at a convention that neither of us wanted to be at, so we really kind of bonded over not wanting to be there. We got really, really close. I'm obviously a big Los Angeles Rams fan, and I was coming to LA for a game like that week. And he was living in this house, which is, 35 minutes on a good day from SoFi. So he was like, "Where are you staying in LA?" And I was like, "Oh, some hotel by the stadium." And he said, "Cancel your hotel. Come stay at my house."
Nice.
And I was like, "Oh, that would be great. Save me the $600 or whatever on the hotel." And then my girlfriend, Rachel, who was coming with me on that trip, said, "I do not know these people. You just met them. I do not want to stay with them." And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of fair. They could be crazy." He did say he has like 5 or 6 roommates. And then he's texting with me, and he sends me a screenshot of him texting him being like, "Oh, we have people coming to the house, and you said something like, as long as they do content or something, like as long as they film with me or something." And then Rachel found out that one of the roommates was him, who she was a big fan of at the time.
That's hilarious.
And so she was like, "Oh, yeah, we can stay there." Spider-Man hoodie guy is there. So Andrew's the reason we were able to stay here because Rachel was okay with it. So we came and stayed here. I met Andrew, everything. And I remember one of the first days here, Andrew was filming something, and we were talking about his content and this and that. And I was like, "Look, I think you have this great personality, and I don't think that your content shows it off properly. You're just the guy holding the microphone." And I said, "You should have a podcast. I think you have this great personality. You know a lot about a lot of things. I think that
Which he's right.
a podcast would kill with you." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, maybe, but I don't know." And then I berated him and berated him and berated him. And then finally I'm on the phone with him in like November. I'm about to move out here in like a month. And I'm like,
So you're going to move out no matter what?
"Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude, I skipped that." I worked for Spotify for a while. They offered me a raise and like a promotion, kind of, I don't know what else you would call it, to be out here. So I was like, "Oh, can I move in?" And they were like, "Yeah, let's do it. We'll put you in the guest house." And so fast forward, that was like in like October or something. But then fast forward, that was September, October. Fast forward to November, like late November, I'm going to move out here in January. And I'm just like, "So you doing this podcast?" And he's like, "Well, I need a co-host. Do you want to co-host?" It's like, "Oh." And then that's how it came up. And then we came out here, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And had our first episode out by the 20-something, the 24th.
Talked about it was kind of scripted in the very beginning of the podcast.
It was never fully scripted. We just had segments that we
Or like bits, kind of.
Yeah, we've always had bits. We still have bits, but like we tested a bunch of different stuff in the first like 10 episodes. Like there were some times where like we would script like literally word for word like the first like 3 minutes of an episode.
Yeah.
When we did like news back and forth, we tried that a couple episodes, then we stopped. Or sometimes we would have like certain things that we wanted to hit like lined out, and we would know how to get there with each other. But it was never fully like scripted out entirely, except for maybe like 1 or 2 segments on 1 or 2 episodes.
We had like
now
a few jokes ready.
Yeah, now we don't do that like
your
literally
Ellen
at all.
DeGeneres joke in the first episode you had ready, huh?
Yeah, that was scripted.
Who's your favorite lesbian?
Ellen DeGeneres was definitely scripted.
The Jenna Ortega thing, like I had that joke, like her
you had
walking
that
on
joke
me.
prepared.
Both great jokes though.
The horse joke in episode 3, where he's like, "You keep talking about horses, you're going to turn into one," and it cuts to me, and I have a horse mask on.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Right, like that. That was obviously scripted, but you know, and yeah, we were really just throwing shit at the wall in the first 10 episodes. I mean, I snorted salt on the cocaine bear thing in episode 4. We were just throwing.
Yes, but now we
trying to get.
I mean, we basically like have our segments, and we're like, we're going to do these 4 segments on this episode, and that's about it.
Exactly.
In terms of scripting.
How long did it take y'all to where y'all started? Where you're kind of like, oh, I really like this guy. You know, like.
I don't think we've ever gotten to that point.
Interesting. Wait, so like that we like each other like as human beings?
No, like you're like, hey, this I really not only see him as a business partner, as someone I like, as a roommate, as a good friend.
That's happened very recently, unfortunately.
San Diego Comic-Con?
Yes. So
that was fun.
So this is a great.
Wait, the most recent Comic-Con y'all were at, or the one before?
It was in July of last year. But this is interesting because I think, and we had somebody asked this the other day. We were doing like a thing with the roommates where it was like, if you didn't know any of us, who would you be closest with? Like if you had like one conversation with, and we each other said each other, because like at surface level we like each other a lot, but then as soon as like we became business partners and like working together, there are just a lot of frustrations that come with that. I mean. I yelled at him yesterday, and it was what I said to him
was crazy,
was mean, like it was rude, and his response was, "Are you done?" We do this a lot. We really frustrate the heck out of each other.
That was funny.
So it's like how it goes with work.
I've always said Alex is sometimes my least favorite person in the room, but sometimes he's my favorite person in the room. Yeah, it's very hot and cold.
I don't think he's ever my least favorite person in the room, but. It's rare that he's my favorite person in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
But it did like he said, San Diego Comic-Con was
fun. Like we have
so fun.
Was that the famous Patreon episode and the
No.
Crusher episode?
No,
that was
no, but it is.
That was later on, but that was also fun.
San Diego is the time where he took a picture of my butt.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And I asked him to.
Yeah,
Straight up.
No, that was like.
I think we've always been friends since your first visit.
Yes.
And then it was like we were like so focused on business, and then we found out he's like, oh. I kind of hate that about you, and you're like, you kind of hate that about me. But then now we found a very good, like, healthy, like.
It is. We have 2 newer roommates. Like one of them moved in July, and then the other one moved in September. And like since then, the 4 of us like have spent a lot of time together, and like me and Andrew bonded over loving our roommates so much. Like we bonded over spending time with them, and like I feel so much closer to him now. Thanks to our relationships with them. Like every night we were playing Smash till like 1 a.m. And so like stuff like that'll really bond you with somebody. So
yeah, for sure.
I do feel like we are much friendlier than we used to be.
Was there ever like a scenario early on where one of y'all were like, even like y'all didn't talk about this, but deep down you're like, I don't know if I can do a podcast with this guy.
Ooh. Oh, I've never had it. I've never had that moment ever. Damn.
Yeah, probably once a day, I think.
Damn.
No. No, there were like when Matt and Dre were still in the house.
Yeah.
There were like some conversations we had there. I was like, oh, this guy. There were multiple times where you walked out of the house because of a conversation we were having. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No.
Well, I'm not gonna say it.
Is it the girlfriend thing?
That's one of them.
I don't remember.
Oh, the other one was just the funniest conversation. That's another example.
Oh, the funniest conversation. Yeah.
But where like he was upset, and I was like, wow, if he's upset about this. No, I mean, no, I think the podcast we do is just like awesome. So
yeah,
I mean, it's my favorite podcast.
Yeah, no, so I love doing it.
I've never
I love
even considered leaving it.
No, I've
Never.
never like
Like,
actually considered leaving it. No.
Yeah, no, never. In no capacity. Especially because it's my livelihood now.
Yeah.
How did that decision come about to leaving Spotify? Because you even said you've said Spotify was a good job. They
Great job.
let you move out to Miami with the raise. You said.
Yep.
So what was like?
And they paid good. And the hours, like, it wasn't like a difficult job per se. But so I talked to somebody at Spotify about it. And Spotify does not let you have social media. Okay. That is why until very recently I didn't have any posts on my Instagram. They do not let you have a social media presence. So it was always an overarching thing. Like, if they find the podcast, is it going to be a problem? And I had one person at Spotify talk to me and was like, I found your podcast the other day. And I was like, and he was like, bangs. Like, I really like this. This is really funny. And he's like, why aren't you doing that? Like, just leave. And I'm like, well, I don't like. And he was like, do you save your money? Or he was like, do you spend it like a lunatic? And I'm like, no, I've got savings. And he's like, focus on the podcast. He was like, you're doing nothing here. You're not going up. Like, this isn't a job you're going to do for the rest of your life. The podcast could be. And he was like, think about how much time you would have for the podcast if you weren't here. And I was like, wow, that was the first time I ever thought about that. That was in like March. That was super early. I quit in June. And then I had more and more and more conversations about it. And then my mother was visiting right around the time that Flash came out. And my mother was visiting and she was like, quit. She was like,
and
quit.
that's all you needed, huh?
She was like, you're good. Like, you're having so much fun. Money is going to come from this thing because it's so good and it's so special and everything. She was like, burn the boats. She, my mom and I have potty mouths. So she was like, burn the effing boats. Like, get the F out of there. Like, just dedicate your life to this thing. That's what you want to be doing. And I haven't looked back.
That's funny. So one more question for you, and then we got to get into the bread and the butter.
Let's
what
do it.
Everybody wants to know. The movie takes. Does Rachel watch all the podcasts?
No.
Neither does my girlfriend. I literally looked at her YouTube, dude. She watched one episode. It was my solo episode. And I have 20. She freaking sucks.
Unreal.
Unreal.
Girlfriends ain't supporting.
No. It's
crazy.
ridiculous.
But she
crazy.
supports. You know what I'm saying? I bet you can relate. She's like, oh, I support you, but.
Do y'all think your relationships would be better if they watch?
No. I made.
So why the frick does it matter?
I don't care. I'm not complaining about it, but you did ask.
No, I don't care either because I can say funny jokes, but my girlfriend's also cool. Like, if I say a joke, she won't.
Yeah.
Like, if you call a girlfriend hot or something.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm in trouble.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
One of my funniest jokes I said, I asked somebody, what would you do if you knew you were going to die tomorrow? And I was like, probably cheat on my girlfriend.
That's so funny.
Oh, my gosh.
That's so
Her family
funny.
was salty about it, but she thought it was funny.
Do you think I'm going to want my girlfriend to watch the podcast? Do you think, that would bother me?
No, would it?
I don't think so.
No. Podcasts are long.
One of the girls, I've fallen in love a few times. One of the girls that I fell in love with didn't watch any of my YouTube videos back in the day.
Did it bother you?
No, but she asked me about it one time, and I was like, and the way I explained it was like, if you were really passionate about something, and that was a huge part of your life, and I never consumed any of it, that would just be a part of my life that I wouldn't be able to connect with you that I would want to. And then she started watching some after that.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
But everything we're talking about on the podcast, Rachel and I already connect about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get that.
So I don't feel that way at all personally.
No, yeah, I get it. I don't think it would be a requirement that my girlfriend watch every single episode.
That's fair.
Makes sense. What about your short form content more? Would you want her to at least watch them?
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't have to watch every single one, but just watch some.
Give your thoughts.
Yeah. And as long as she's there helping me brainstorm and film and supporting and that's a huge thing for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So the bread and butter. First off, I have to thank you and especially you for being the representation of how trash Man of Steel is.
Bang.
Bang.
It's so god awful.
So
I would say
bad.
when I first saw it when it came out, because I grew up reading Superman comics. I read a little bit of Spider-Man and a little bit of Wolverine, a bunch of Superman comics. I couldn't tell you which ones because I was so young.
Yeah.
They're all hand-me-downs from my grandparents. I loved it when it first came out, and then every time you hear one thing about it,
Yeah.
it just adds on top.
No, I get
and
that
it adds
for
on
sure.
top, and it's so bad.
I was we were tagged in a post today from a guy on TikTok that ranked all the DCEU movies, and he put Man of Steel at 1.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's gross.
It's crazy.
What about Batman v Superman?
I like it a little bit more.
Bang.
Just a little bit more, but it's still not good.
Correct.
Because
So
I don't like when Batman kills people.
it's everything that Man of Steel is, but like also does it to like
And
multiple other characters.
to get ready, I was driving out of town for work the other day, and I watched the Connor episode where everybody was losing their mind. Some people, like, dude, when they're like, Martha makes sense, no, that's dumb.
Yeah.
That
He
so
is
dumb.
the
The
Dark
Dark
Knight.
Knight.
He's the Dark Knight. Dude, we
No,
we quote that 6 times a week.
No, yeah.
When everybody's just screaming
No,
at each
that
other,
was-
Connor's sitting right here. He's like, he is the Dark.
they didn't make any good points. I'm just gonna say it. I thought I was cooking them.
No, I thought you won too overall. Like, not just.
I was sitting there enjoying the chaos.
That was probably one of the more funniest moments. Like when I watched that for the first time, just everybody going crazy.
I mean, clearly it was not planned or staged or anything.
Yeah.
But same thing. How I don't like Man of Steel. What do you think is the best, like first Batman movie? Both of y'all.
The best first one?
What's like the word for that?
So like the first of each trilogy type beat?
Yeah.
Like so Batman 89, Batman Begins,
And
The
the
Batman,
You know
like
Batman v Superman.
all those Batman v Superman. Yeah, obviously Batman Begins.
What would you think?
I would probably say same. I need to watch Batman Begins again. I really like the Batman more than him, so I would probably go the Batman next.
Yes, the Batman is probably next for me too, but it is a big gap. Like I don't know if I've ever expressed this opinion, but I think the top 4 comic book movies of all time are Across the Spider-Verse, Dark Knight, Into the Spider-Verse, Batman Begins.
That's insane.
No, Batman Begins is way too high. The other
Batman
three are fine.
Begins-
Batman Begins is way better than anything in the MCU.
How
I've always
But
thought that.
you don't like Man of Steel because it doesn't represent the character well. Batman is. I'm not an executioner. Sets the whole League of Shadows on fire and kills like how many people?
Like everything
And
you're
saves
saying.
Ra's al Ghul and then lets him die at the end.
Everything you're saying, like that all makes sense to me, but like I think you get leeway with a character like Batman that you don't get that kind of leeway with a character like Superman. Like
But you don't give him any leeway in your
I think if
opinion
your
about
character
his
doesn't kill,
detectiveness
it doesn't kill.
in the Batman.
in the Batman.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
So why are you so hard about
So
that, but
wait.
not about the fact that he's killing people?
What's
Well-
more important to Batman, being a good detective or not killing people?
I think
To you,
I think both are equally important. And I
Then
think,
why do you care about one so much more?
I would feel like it's him not killing because he doesn't kill because one of his famous quotes is, "If you kill a killer, there's the same amount of killers in the world."
I'm with you,
Unless you kill 30 killers.
True. Very good point.
but like at the end of the day, like in Batman Begins, you cannot convince me that he doesn't kill in the Batman. But it's all
I think they do a way better job.
circumstance. It's all circumstantial. He didn't murder anybody himself.
But so like you know,
If he lights a building on fire and people burn to death, that's their fault for not getting out.
but like think about the Batman animated
Is
show. How many times did like Joker like fall and he grabs Joker
And
and,
he grabs
saves
him.
him?
Yep. The
He-
Batman,
but he just
Batman the
lets
animated
Ra's al Ghul-
series is a better representation and a better Batman project than Batman Begins.
100%. I've said this on a podcast. It does when you watch that, you're like, they've never done Batman justice live action. That's how I feel. Like
Yeah,
the
that's crazy to me.
I
When the
don't
Dark
know.
Knight exists.
I love Dark Knight. Don't get me wrong. Dark
Knight's a good movie.
Dark Knight's a great movie. I don't know if it's a good Batman movie.
As Connor said, the Dark Knight trilogy has done irreparable damage,
which
to
I
the
think is a
viewer.
good take. And I also think that like if you want to say they're not good Batman movies, that's fine. But like
God, it's so good.
they're so good.
They're so good. But also, what I don't like in Batman Begins too, that he was just gonna shoot his parents' killer. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
but then he's
That-
wrong.
I don't know. It just seems silly. Batman
Yeah,
Begins.
I think there's I can't think of any particular scene in the Batman where like he's obviously killing people, and if so, they're not scenes in which like you go out of your way to make a point of him being like, I'm going to let you die, and that's what I'm doing, which he does to Ra's al Ghul and in Batman v Superman. Like there is no scene like that in the Batman
Batman's sick, dude. I love the Batman. That's my second favorite Batman movie.
after Dark Knight.
Yeah, of course. Dark Knight's probably
That's
the
not
best.
that's probably my take as well. Well, no, after Batman Begins.
Batman Begins is so good.
I like the Batman more. It drags. It drags for a little bit. I can't even lie.
It does.
It does drag.
I've only seen it once the weekend it came out, so
Really?
yeah. So
I saw it twice in 2 days.
yeah.
Because I had already plans to.
Did you not like it the first time you saw it? Or was it like the more you sat on it, the less you liked it?
I didn't love it night one. I think I liked it less night one than night two.
Okay, so you liked it a little more the next night?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So my favorite film franchise of all time, Harry Potter.
Ooh.
Love Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I'm reading the books right now. I'm on the 4th. Like, God, they're so
Here we
long.
go.
They're
How
so
good is the
long.
4th book, though?
It's so much better than the movie. Goblet of Fire is my least favorite movie.
It's a good take.
Interesting.
You put your name in the Goblet of Fire.
Harry, get your potato.
So bad. And
So
I just
terrible.
don't care for the games.
Wait till you get to, you haven't got, so you're not on book 6. Wait till you get to book 6. Movie 6 is going to be your least favorite.
What's your opinion like for the first hour and a half the first time you watched it? Were you enjoying it up to
Yeah.
that point?
No, I think
It's so good.
I think the rest of it's probably good. I don't know if I have seen it since I saw it. I have not watched it since opening day.
You've only seen it once?
Where I dressed up as Dobby and went to the theater.
And you like
seen
left
it
and
once?
you hated it immediately?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I enjoyed all of it until the end, and then we came out with like that was that fun. I can't believe they did that at the end.
So is
my
the,
entire group.
is the end mainly just how Voldemort dies?
No, it is not that. That is part of it. They changed a few things, but yes, one of them is well how he dies, but then also like
The
Michaela,
final battle with him and Voldemort.
the final battle and everything after that. Like in the book, like you've got to remember this is the climax of like what is one of the potentially biggest sagas of all time, and to have it end a certain way. I only point to the book because the book is better and the book does it a certain way. I'm not just complaining that it's different. I'm complaining that like this was like this for a reason, and that reason is good. So one of the things is the way Voldemort dies. There is no reason to have him Thanos dissipate.
That was stupid. I agree.
Like that is stupid, and especially because like in the books, like the whole thing throughout the whole saga of Harry Potter is that Voldemort doesn't die. He has all of these Horcruxes. There's never a body. He continues to hop all these different things, and like the finality of the last book of having his body there, like she purposely wrote it that way so that everyone could see it's over. That is a huge deal.
love this.
Okay, so that's one thing. But not only that, you get a moment in the book where Voldemort falls and you see his body and you get the finality, and then there is a pause, and then she writes how the audience, the viewers, the onlookers erupt into applause, and there is happiness, and there is a relief. You can get this sense of victory, and like that is so much more of a better ending and like a better written, just like how it feels and how you watch it and how you experience. It is a way better experience to imagine this crowd just absolutely losing their minds, and finally this is what you get, as opposed to the onlookers just being like, okay, and then everyone just walking off. And then you cut to
Yeah.
another scene where like Hagrid's like, Harry, and then just like kind of like gives him like a side weird hug, and then like no one's talking, and then you just see all these people are dead and everything. Like there's time for that like you have to do that, but like the pacing of it, the way it was shot, the way they tell that story at the end just rips so much heart and so much
So you
goodness.
don't like it pretty much up to the point where Harry goes and sacrifices himself? That
No.
kind of would be your cutoff point?
No, I think the conversation with him and Dumbledore and the White was fine probably. I think it's everything after that. I think it's when.
Okay.
And then obviously they changed the Elder Wand thing. Like that doesn't bother me too much. It was just like
I
after
thought
that
that
it
was
was
a
like
way better
I
change.
love
Way
the
better
Elder
than-
Wand change.
Because that's dumb to bury it back with Dumbledore.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anybody- he's an Auror after the books.
Mm-hmm.
Harry's an Auror. So anybody that disarms him now has the power of the Elder Wand. If they just go take it from Dumbledore's grave.
Way better.
yeah.
When
I
Harry-
thought he had to be holding the Elder Wand. No, I guess
No,
not.
no. If he's disarmed, just
Yeah,
period.
no. So like that doesn't necessarily bother me, which again is a point too. Like if something is changed, it doesn't have to just copy the book just to copy the book. It needs to copy the book if the book has a reason for being that way.
Makes sense.
You get to the end of that movie and it just doesn't feel. And you're just like
I get what you're saying, how it feels. Like it's just, even like the song in the background is kind
yeah.
of.
It's like I watched 8 movies to get this dissipating Voldemort with no one talking and then just depression.
But would you
Shut the
have
frick
wished
up.
that the final battle wasn't how they were running around everywhere? And because I love when he's like, Tom, let's do this together, and he grabs them and they fall off. I love that scene, which I know that's not in the books.
Yeah, no, some of that's fine because the way it ends is in the courtyard with everyone there the way it's supposed to
Yeah,
be.
the one-on-one.
Yeah, the one-on-one.
Makes sense. So that's your least favorite Harry Potter movie?
Because of that, yeah, I normally throw it up there.
What's your least favorite Harry Potter movie? You had to pick?
Half-Blood Prince, not even close.
Yeah,
It's my favorite book by a country mile. My favorite books are 6, 4.
Okay.
6, 4, 3. And then my favorite movies are 8, 7 part 2, 3,
Love 3.
3 is such a good movie. But like those are my favorite movies, and like yeah, dude. Sorry, excuse my language. Dude, like 6, the book is a masterwork. It is so good, and they don't do any
They
of
added
it
a
in
bunch
the
of that
movie.
Teenage, like,
It is in the
the
book.
romance is in there.
It is in the book. But like to make that movie a rom-com when it is arguably the darkest in the series is crazy. Like that book is like if you strip everything away from that book, at its core, the biggest takeaway that I take away from 6 is that it's a Voldemort origin story, and to take away every memory except 2 is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Oh, dude.
Do you like Prisoner of Azkaban?
Growing up, that was always one of my least favorites.
I
But
love
again,
No,
I-
3
I-
cooks.
That's one of my top favorite movies of all time. When I was watching it,
Yeah,
because
I want to watch it.
as
again.
I've said, Hermione Solo's Batman with prep time. I was the one to ask that question.
Correct.
On the podcast.
Correct.
Hermione's one of my favorite characters. When she throws a freaking rock in and it breaks the glass, and they're like, "What?" And then she goes, "Ow!" You
It's
did, I'm
good.
saving your life. Gosh, but I think
Hermione's
y'all said
goated.
that time travel's dumb.
Yeah, I don't love that the time turner is then used and then never used again. That's
Yeah,
not
no,
great.
It's-
Okay, I do agree on that.
That's not great.
That would have been.
That's why
helpful
time
for-
travel in Endgame is better. The way it's explained is better in Endgame. There is
I
no,
just- the
there
way
is
they
there
do
are
it's-
less paradoxes.
He's married to the Endgame.
It's the best way to make time travel work.
Interesting. And then we got to get into Spider-Man too, because I don't know if y'all saw my Spider-Man comics.
We
Love
saw it as soon as you arrived, brother.
And the Spider-Man.
And
I
the
wasn't.
hat.
I was like, people were probably looking at the airport like, such a Spider-Man.
Dude, I've worn a
tryhard.
Spider-Man onesie on a plane before.
Yeah.
Like it,
Oh, you should see our roommate Angel. I don't think I've ever seen him not wearing something Spider-Man.
yeah, it's crazy.
Spider-Man's the greatest character. What does Spider-Man mean to y'all at a core front?
A lot.
This is a better question for you.
Really?
I just like him.
I love him.
I love
Like
Spider-Man.
I love him, but like
I don't know. Like, you know, growing up, when you're in different stages of life, characters can mean different things to you, or like different, like Avatar. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender, it meant a lot to me as a kid because I
I've
liked
never
the.
seen it.
Okay.
oh, it's
Alright.
so good.
I
Get
know.
out of my house. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, dude.
Like when I was growing up, I liked it because I liked the characters. I thought it was funny. I loved the bending. I liked the action scenes. Blah blah blah. And then when you grow up, you know, you recognize more things like, you know, Zuko's character development means more to you, and Iroh's story means more to you. So like Spider-Man, when I was growing up, when I was a kid, I identified with this friggin' superhero that could flip around. I liked jumping off of stuff. I liked, you know, it wasn't Hulk. I'm not Hulk. I'm the skinny guy that likes to jump, you know, climb trees. So the swinging and his powers and just seeing that in a movie form and in comics.
Your last name's Parker.
My last name is Parker. My dad wanted to name me Peter. Like, I just, all that stuff you love. But then as you grow up, his story of perseverance and fighting for his family and all
always
that.
doing the right thing,
Yeah.
even if it's not what's right.
Yeah.
Don't
and-
y'all say like that's a core aspect of Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Always doing the right thing,
That's why the
even
best Spider-Man we've ever gotten in any movie is Miles in Across the Spider-Verse.
What about,
see. But that's
Tom?
what my point I was about to bring up is. That's what bugs me about Across. I like Into just a little bit better. Don't get me wrong. The best two, my favorite's No Way Home. Obviously, just bring back Toby.
Love No Way Home.
But then it's Into then Across. There's just this whole spider society that's okay with letting the chief captain die. That's okay with letting their uncle die.
yeah.
That bugs me.
But they've lost their way. And Miles
But
is
how
there to
many
bring
Peter
it back.
Parkers are there in that?
A ton.
You know what I'm saying? So there's just all these Peter Parkers are just not Spider-Man? Or don't
Again,
have a
they've
core
lost
aspect
their
of
way.
Spider-Man?
And Miles is the Spider-Man, even though he's not supposed to be. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, dude, I want to go watch it again now.
Oh, it's so good.
I want to go watch it right now. That scene, use your hands. Use your palms. And then, like, the way it's spinning around and
Oh,
the
it's-
music and Miguel talking
It's
to
so
him,
good, dude. When he goes, do the thing, like the explaining
Big thing.
thing. I was like, oh, here we go. This movie was so good up until this point. Here comes the exposition dump, and the pacing is going to be ruined. It's the best scene in the movie.
It's so good.
I just prefer it. Into the Spider-Verse, I think, is.
How they get the drama of like all the spider people showing up slowly, and he's slowly getting surrounded, and
Miguel, this isn't what we talked about. He's just a kid. Use your palms.
you talked about that. Oh my gosh,
It
dude.
is so good.
Stop calling me kid.
Did y'all see Miller's Girl?
I've seen the scenes.
Terrible. Oh my god.
Shout out Everett Ross.
Shout
It
out.
was terrible.
What's his real name?
Martin
Freeman.
Freeman.
Yep.
Yeah.
That movie was terrible. And then you liked Mean Girls, didn't you?
They cooked.
Oh, dude, that movie. The
It's my favorite movie of the year.
That's insane.
Because he won't see Dune. Dune 2 is so good. Dune 2, like we were talking earlier, how you came out of the Batman and like you sat with it a little bit and watched it again. You liked it a little bit more. Dune 2 is one where I came out and I was like, that was pretty good. And I haven't seen it again, but just the more I think about it, the more I'm like, wow, that was actually really good now that I think about
I'm
it.
so excited to go see it. I've heard,
People are overhyping it a little bit.
Everybody's saying it's the best movie ever.
It's not the best movie ever. But
people are saying it's better than Empires. What do y'all think about that?
no.
You made it plural as well.
Empire.
I did make it.
See? It's not just me. I'm not just the only stupid person on the planet.
I commented on one of your TikToks about it.
Were you roasting me?
No, where you said Empires in your TikTok and you talked about it on the pod. I was like, is this what you were talking about?
Yeah.
I think you said like frick you or something.
Frick you. I say that a
Sounds
lot.
like something you
Or
would
the
say.
classic
That is
one.
something I would say. No, yeah, Dune 2 is really good.
What's your favorite curse word?
Have you had to pick one?
The F word covers so many bases.
It covers so many
It
bases.
can be an adjective, it could be a noun, it could be a verb.
So you've never like in your room alone,
Nope.
You never whispered it?
No. I know, everyone asks me that.
That's insane.
Yeah, isn't
I
that
respect it. So not once in your whole life you've ever said it, or you have?
So again, I've said this on the pod. There's only like a handful of times where like I either got close or like I repeated somebody else. Like someone said something to me and I was like, don't, and I like said it back to them like
But
accidentally.
it's accidentally.
But like, and even then, it was like maybe 3 or 4 times my whole life. And the other times, I've never been like, of my own volition, said it. No,
That's impressive.
I guess
No, I mean, well, it doesn't come up just randomly because it's not in your vocabulary. So you.
my
wouldn't
brain
think
doesn't
of-
think it.
So you like that's so funny. You think frick. Like that just is hilarious to me.
Frick.
Gosh, heckin' dang it!
And now, what's y'all's favorite Escape podcast episode?
6.
I thought it was 16. What's 16? I like the Dominican episode. I like the Connor episode.
Yeah.
I like 6.
6
And then
is so
I
good.
6?
Charles Mutt
Suck my balls.
Oh,
and
great.
it's the fan, or like that is such a good fan segment, and it's a hot takes, the Disney hot takes, and it's the slapping trivia for the MCU.
Oh,
like
dude.
it's so
yeah,
good,
it was so awful.
and that's the one where Rachel comes in. Like it's so good.
Yeah,
and then
that
I
was
like the
funny.
Patreon episode where I was loopy.
In the bed.
Yeah. So the one in the bed, the Patreon episode in the bed, and then the Patreon episode where Rachel and Haley are in here, where we've got the crystals and everything.
And I
Yeah.
suck on them.
Oh my gosh,
funny.
dude, that is the funny.
that
That's some of the
23
funny-
or
It's
something?
something.
Okay.
It's one of the funniest ones we've ever done. It's so good.
No, the one in the bed's the funny where you're talking about Aristotle.
Yeah.
That's great.
That is so good.
You're stretching.
Stretching out these kids, man. That's crazy.
Do y'all think y'all ever get to the point where like y'all put some of that content more into the main pod?
You mean me talking about Aristotle touching kids?
Well, not just that, but I'm
Jeez.
saying like the darker humor kind of where.
I think it comes out of, well, we did just bleep a joke in the most recent
That
episode.
you wouldn't have bleeped on the Patreon.
No, yeah, no. Well, I've already gotten semi-canceled before, so like
Wait, for real?
twice.
Yes.
For
yeah.
what? Was it
He
something
lost
stupid?
a major brand deal for,
Was it stupid?
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was someone in my stream asked thoughts on racism, and I said it's bad. Kind of funny though.
That's so good.
and then I said I'm kidding. It's obviously bad, and I lost thousands of dollars because of that.
that's insane. Racism is funny though.
Yeah, it definitely can be if they're jokes, which obviously mine was. And
Support Asian hate.
Stop Asian hate.
Oh, I
support
said-
Asian hate. What does
That's
this guy
crazy.
say?
I messed up.
That's crazy,
Stop. I meant to
dude.
say stop.
Yeah,
That's
You're the
hilarious.
problem.
No,
we need to stop
This
you.
guy's getting canceled. No, so like in the most recent episode, I said a joke, and it's so funny. I think it's one of the funniest jokes ever, and
I say and I'll bleep it.
I can say it right.
You can say it on here.
Yeah. So this is a joke. I think I heard it from TikTok. You know the classic joke, "Why was 6 afraid of 7?"
Oh yeah, you did bleep it out. What did you say?
To 7, 8, 9.
You
No.
didn't laugh that much on this joke.
Why was 6 afraid of 7?
7, 8, 9.
yeah.
No, 7 was black.
Oh.
That's all it is. And then someone commented, "Why? How did 10 die?" He was in the middle of 9/11.
That's good. That's good.
Both jokes, but yeah, I cut that. I think we're still edgy and like
It's getting edgier.
It's just like it's so unbelievably obvious that our podcast is like a comedy, like debate, stupid show.
I think people are finally getting it.
Yeah, I think they tried to take us too seriously, and because they only saw the podcast opinions where we were like arguing and like kind of being serious about it, but they don't know that like half of that is just us being like funny and joking around.
Yes.
And then like they don't see that like 80% of the show is just us being idiots.
Yes.
So hopefully they understand that now, because like. Yeah, if it's not a comedy show, I guess that would be kind of out of place. But, like, this is just a stupid fun show. Like, it's not meant to be, I don't know.
Which, by the way, I'm glad I read my notes real quick because I forgot to bring something up.
Okay.
How do you think Justice League is better than Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Bang.
Like, you so heartedly agree that?
He's so cooking right now.
That's fine. I say they're about the same. I don't think one is infinitely better than the other.
But you prefer the one that isn't 4
Kal-El,
hours.
no! One of the worst scenes.
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember coming out of Justice League. I remember I was sitting in the row in front of my dad, and I got up and I ran to the aisle behind me, and I looked at my dad and I was like, yeah, that was good, right? And we high-fived because we enjoyed Justice League. Like, that just felt like a superhero movie to me. Like, no, it's not.
I walked out of it when I saw it.
That's crazy. I don't think there's
I just got bored.
I don't think there's any remote reason to do that. I think it's not as profound or as epic as Infinity War or Logan or The Dark Knight, but like that is a solid. Like, they nailed the characters. They let Superman be Superman.
Like, they added that scene where Aquaman just picks up Bruce Wayne. He's like, oh, I hate that scene.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
In the bar when he goes and like recruits
remember
Aquaman. It's not in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but they added a song though in Justice League. God, what's the song? Who the Thompson drunk on the wagon to Mexico when he's walking on the. That one's better.
Anytime that song comes on, I'll like that movie. Except 84. Is it in 84? Yeah, frick that movie.
Nah, that movie's terrible.
See,
It's
I think
crazy how bad that movie is.
it was impressive how bad that was.
I was telling my girlfriend that's probably like the worst sequel of all time, following up such because I think Wonder Woman was great.
Wonder Woman, yeah, that's one of the biggest drop-offs. For
Star
sure.
Trek
That's what I'm
Into
saying.
Darkness is worse.
Never seen one Star Trek movie.
Cars 2.
I like Cars 2. It's
Cars,
not better than
Cars,
Cars 1.
Cars 2 is a huge drop-off.
I think Cars 2 is fun.
Cars 2 bangs.
Cars 2 is better than 84.
Cars 2 is better than 84.
Yeah, it's way
I'll
better
give you
than
that.
What-
Aquaman 2 wasn't great either, but
What's better, Cars 2 or Thor Ragnarok?
that is a great question.
You're cooking.
That is a great question.
I'm taking Ragnarok.
I'm taking Ragnarok too, of course.
You're cooking.
There's no way.
I don't know, dude. I might take Ragnarok. I think Cars 2 doesn't do anything as egregious as ruining Thor's character like Ragnarok does, but I think Ragnarok is still probably more enjoyable if you're stupid.
Someone said on my podcast, they said Ragnarok just put the MCU on the downhill of the crappy comedy, which kind of does make sense.
Yes.
I get it a little
But
bit.
Infinity War
Yes.
came out right after.
Oh, you're so right, Infinity War.
Yeah, because Thor is Thor in that movie.
Infinity War's
and
the
they
best
still let
MCU.
him be funny without being an idiot.
Infinity War's so
You can
good.
still be funny without doing what Ragnarok did. It's a great point. Thank you for pointing that out.
But y'all are both so wrong about Guardians too. That's not the worst MCU
Guardians
movie.
2 is trash.
It's
We'll
not
take on the world.
trash.
We'll take on the world.
It's
Bubba.
not trash. Have y'all watched it recently?
No,
Yes.
I'm afraid to because
I saw it like last year.
I'm afraid I'm gonna like it.
It's bad.
Bad. Watch the sequel. Watch the first, second, third.
Andrew, I promise you, I've rewatched it like 3 or 4 times. I want to like it. It's so bad.
I mean,
there are some
it's
good
still
things
a
in there.
Guardians movie though, like Thor: The Dark World, Captain Marvel. You think Captain Marvel's better than Guardians too?
Yes.
God, that's insane.
I don't think there's like a good joke in Guardians 2. It's crazy. And it's like it's like a Guardians movie that isn't funny, and I don't like the ego stuff at all. And like there are stupid jokes like when he describes the jokes in Ragnarok that I think are funny. Like that's how I feel about a lot of the jokes in
I don't
Guardians
understand how you
2.
can see that in Guardians, but not in Ragnarok. I don't get it.
because like there's the joke like there's no joke in
What's a clever joke in Ragnarok?
any I guess they're
There's
not
no-
like
it's
clever,
funny.
but
You hate when Hulk falls and just.
Yeah, that's not
that
clever.
was hysterical.
That's not
When I
funny.
saw in the
You're right. No. So you're clever.
That's
The-
funny if you do it one time in a movie. But by the 5th time, it's not funny.
No, the clever
like
thing
him
is
throwing the ball
interesting.
through you don't like and it
The
bounces back.
clever thing is interesting because, like, dude, when it's my birthday,
Not clever in the slightest.
That's just really funny.
It's just awkward.
I
Like Dungeons and Dragons
Oh!
has clever comedy.
no. There are every Korg line is pretty clever.
Yeah, Korg is fine.
Right, like the you
Yeah.
know, there's no need to be afraid of me unless you're made of scissors.
Yes.
That's just a rock,
I'll
paper,
give you
scissors joke for you. I did a printed pamphlets, so the only people that showed up was my mother and her boyfriend, who I hate.
I'll give you Korg all day.
All the hammer stuff. Oh, so the hammer, you rode the hammer. Oh, so it seems that losing the hammer was like losing a loved one.
So
And
good.
he's like, I never thought of it like that. It's like, that's really
no,
funny.
I'll give you Korg all day. That's fair.
Every Korg line is pretty fun.
Korg is
Like,
fun.
pretty
I
clever.
think the Ragnarok's take's the worst podcast take. No, actually, I lied. You saying that who could beat up Mike Tyson?
I was wrong.
The
I
Rock.
was wrong.
The Rock.
I
That
was
was the
wrong.
worst podcast.
I was wrong.
So
I'm
bad.
sorry. I'll apologize
so
for that
bad,
take. I'm
dude.
just not that educated.
My brother just randomly texted me literally yesterday, and
That was-
the whole text from my brother was just 10,000 rats is a lot of rats. That was the whole text, and he was like, "I am dying listening to this part of the podcast." It was awesome.
No, that was great. But yeah, I think Ragnarok's probably the worst movie take. Love and Thunder being worse than or better than Ragnarok.
yeah, that's crazy.
Love and Thunder is terrible.
Terrible.
I just.
But
I
you
don't
think
get it.
Love and Thunder is still bad?
I don't think it's great. I think it's eh.
What would you give it 1 out of 10?
Like a 5 or a 6.
I
What
think
would
I
you
give
give
it a 4.
Ragnarok?
I'd give Ragnarok probably like a 4.
Okay, so it's not that much better. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You're also higher on movies than me.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Like, I'd give
very
Guardians
high
2 a 2.
Yeah. I would give Guardians a 4 as well.
I don't want to hear my Madam Web score.
What?
Dude, it was decent.
Okay. All right. Homie.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Whoa.
It was
Why?
decent.
Because it was funny.
I thought it was decently funny.
It was so
The
fun.
villain
it's
was
not
terrible. The villain was terrible.
But the
Sydney
villain's the
Sweeney
best
can't
part.
act.
Sydney Sweeney cannot act, but the villain is the best part.
We need to find the Spider Women.
My appointment with Beth draws
I think
near.
Dakota Johnson's did a good job.
Yeah, no. Dakota Johnson did
the
amazing for
end
what
where
she was
she's
given.
like, where she's in the wheelchair, she's like, "Bless you, achoo," and then like, dude, that's Madam Web, bro. That's Madam. Web.
They're,
Except she's young.
there were some things that I thought like it was a very interesting movie. The concept was interesting, and they cooked like maybe once or twice, but the rest of it is just like the CPR scene. I think back to that. I'm like, they're literally just in a hotel room. She's like, I'm gonna teach you this one specific thing about medical practice.
See, but it was cute at the end when they did it on her.
Yeah, but the only reason they had because they had to force that scene in like an hour earlier for
Okay,
no
true.
reason.
It was Chekhov's gun.
Yeah,
True.
dude, it's so bad.
But
It's
yeah,
so bad.
I like Sydney Sweeney. My girlfriend every time was like, "Oh my gosh," I was like, "That she did."
You didn't
terrible in that
find
movie.
some of those lines just like unbelievable.
Sydney Sweeney's like
No, just any of the
All
lines
of
in the
them.
movie.
Sydney Sweeney and the guy that were the only ones that I thought like did terrible.
That's
Two
crazy.
other
No,
girls-
Dakota
Oh,
Johnson's lines were bad. She didn't do a bad job.
I thought
okay, that
everybody
makes
did a
sense.
bad job.
I thought Dakota Johnson did amazing actually for what she was given.
I thought Dakota Johnson did great too. I hope they bring her back as Madam Web. Madam Web's better than Five Nights at Freddy's.
No.
Five Nights at Freddy's is the worst movie.
I had more fun in Madam
Freddy's.
Web.
Five Nights at Freddy's is a like competently made movie, which you cannot say about Madam Web.
Dude, Five Nights at Freddy's sucks.
It's not good.
I enjoyed it.
Neither of them are good.
When he shows up to the house and then gets in the cab, that's where he lost me. I was like, okay, this is.
Yeah, but if we're just talking about the pure enjoyment of a movie, I enjoyed Madam Web way more.
I enjoyed it. My girlfriend's like, I think that was like.
Not for the right
10.
reasons. Not for the
I was
reasons
like,
they
"That's
wanted me to.
insane."
Y'all are wild.
I like
You
Madam
didn't
Web.
have fun with Madam
I
Web?
had so much fun with Madam Web.
Exactly.
But it doesn't make it a better movie than FNAF. I had fun with FNAF in a way that they wanted me to have fun. I had fun with Madam Web in a way that they didn't want me to have
Exactly.
fun. Like, that's just not...
But, I mean, you still have fun with it. You know?
Of course.
It's still entertaining.
I would-
I want movies to entertain me.
I would
like,
You
probably
don't want
see
them
it
to
again.
Keep the Sony movies going, like the Sony
No.
spinoffs. Stop them.
Yes, I thought they should have stopped him after Venom.
We'll finish it off with this, the condition of Star Wars right now, and
Okay.
I'll let y'all go.
Condition of Star Wars. You're the Star Wars guy. What do you think?
Where's the state of Star Wars at right now?
Star Wars has lost a lot of its luster, and it is their fault. I don't know how they could change it or save it.
The Mandalorian movie.
If it's good, Mandalorian Season 3 is not.
That was not good. Kenobi is terrible.
Kenobi's awful.
That's my most
Kenobi's...
favorite TV show of all time.
Jeez.
That's an excellent take. That is such a good take.
Reva's the worst written character of all time.
I think Leia is worse.
Ole is bad in that show.
Leia is so much worse in that show. And no disrespect to the girl. Like, I feel bad for her, but, like, dude, that writing is so bad. everything in that show breaks canon. Everything.
Or like, what about him stabbing Reba as a youngling and then he stabs her in the exact same spot as Vader. And he holds the lightsabers over her head like this.
But he doesn't kill her. But he doesn't kill
I
her.
thought he was going to chop off her head like he did Dooku.
Yeah, but he doesn't kill her. It's just whack. It's so whack. It's like everything about that show is whack. Like they break so much canon in it. It's like crazy.
Do you think it's stupid how he like does this with the rocks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The camera works terrible.
Yep. It's bad. It looks bad because it's shot on the volume. Like it's bad. It's a really bad show. There's like very few redeeming qualities. Again, like it takes the only character in the prequels that has any fun or any heart, and he takes away the fun and heart from him.
Yeah, I did hate that.
Like he's not fun at all.
No, yeah, it's what they did to Boomy in the Avatar show.
Exactly. I like you bring back Ewan McGregor and you make it, and you bring back Hayden and it's a disaster. It's so bad.
When he gets his helmet cut off, that's the only redeeming scene.
Yeah, that was cool.
But again, it is ruined by the fact that Obi-Wan leaves him alive.
True. Do you think they shouldn't have fought again?
Yes. You need to have a fight because why else would you have the show? But Obi-Wan needs to like narrowly get away. He needs to outsmart Vader and narrowly get away so that the line, "When I left you, I was but the learner, now I am the master," still works. Because Vader needs to be bested in order for that line to work. Absolutely.
So Vader needs to barely get away.
Obi-Wan needs to barely get away. Like Obi-Wan needs to be on the back foot the entire time. This is prime Vader.
Okay.
Final thing. What would you give Kenobi 1 out of 10? You're a little higher on it.
2.
2 is crazy.
I feel like a 4.
I'd probably go 5.
So Kenobi sucks. Confirmed.
All right, we'll end it there.
All right. Yeah. Thank y'all.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us.